Tonight, the Tennessee Department of Education has put Nashville schools under the microscope.
The department is now open to review to find out if some of Metro's struggling high schools may have gamed the system to make their test scores look better. That follows questions raised by an exclusive News Channel 5 investigation led by our chief investigative reporter, Phil Williams.
You know, the department had reviewed allegations raised by one of our whistleblowers earlier this year, but officials had closed the file without taking any action. Now, as a result of the questions that we've raised, the state's review has been reopened and now is expanding.
Are these 4 points coplanar?
No.
The review focuses on certain key high school courses that by state law conclude with end-of-course exams. The exams in those subjects are used not only to judge what the students have learned, they're also used to judge how well the schools themselves are performing.
True games would involve making sure that every student tested.
But these two Metro Schools employees told News Channel 5 Investigates that inside some schools, some of the lowest performing students have been pulled from those classes because of fears about how they might affect the school scores.
All of these students, the ones that got pulled, have that in common. They did not perform well on the predictive tests.
Why would they do that?
I mean, the only reason is because they want their scores to go up. That's the only reason.
What do you like about your teacher?
Now, State Education Commissioner Candace McQueen has ordered a thorough review of Metro's testing procedures, sending a letter to Acting Schools Director Chris Henson last week requesting certain information from the last school year. And the department says in a statement, based upon recent reports and concerns, we are now expanding our review to the 2013-14 and 2014-15 school years, which will include an analysis of additional M&PS students.
And I've seen the documentation, I've seen the evidence.
State Representative Rick Womack tried to get the department to investigate earlier this year after the whistleblowers came to him.
They didn't do it. They dropped it and let it go, swept it on the road, covered it up, and decided they weren't going to do the investigation. And so I've been waiting all summer for this report. They never did it.
In fact, News Channel 5 Investigates obtained this email from the department's internal auditor admitting that at the time, they did not deem this serious enough to warrant a further audit or review. Would you say that the district gave up on these students?
Yes, they did.
But now, as a result of these questions, the department says it wants to get to the bottom of Metro's testing policies and the consequences for the students. Now, department spokesperson said that when officials met with one of the whistleblowers, Kelly Brown, earlier this year, the documentation that she brought to that meeting was not conclusive in proving that the rules had been broken. Ms. Brown told me that she wasn't thinking that she needed to bring them all of the evidence, that she was just trying to point them in the right direction. Still, Vicki, that appears to be where the department is heading now.
Meanwhile, Metro Schools is still conducting its own internal investigation.
That's right, and the internal auditor for all of Metro government tells me that he has also received about a dozen complaints about possible academic fraud through the hotline operated by his office. He says those leads have now been forwarded to Metro Schools for them to review.
All right, thanks so much, Phil. And Phil's investigation continues with more stories expected as soon as next week. Now, if you have information for his investigation, send us your tips. The email address investigate@newschannel5.com, or you can call 615-244-NEWS.